Welcome back to Parenting Shrink Wrap. Melissa and Sam here. And, Sam and I are always talking about raising the next generation of world changers. And something as simple as chores can really be a part of that.
Your kids probably will argue with you on that point.
With a lot of emotions.
But that's what we're going to talk about today. Chores. How to get your kids to do them, why it's important, and why it's a battle worth waging, and how to make it less battle-y.
Yeah, because we've all been there. I don't think any parent who's asked their kid to do something that was not a desired task and something that would be labeled as a chore hasn't at some point in time turned into a monumental meltdown.
Yeah, it's one of the things that I talk about most frequently with my parenting coaching clients and therapy clients who are parents, about, like, we don't ask much. These are their responsibilities. And it's usually like, keep their room halfway tidy, empty the dishwasher, take the trash out. It's like basically participating in some of the daily ins and outs of the household functioning for the most part. And they act like this is the biggest burden, right? Like,
Well, and teens, their response are, well, why? Why do I have to do this?
mm-hmm. What were when you were a kid or a teenager? What were your household chores? What did you have to do in your house?
Empty the bathroom trash cans. I had to clean the tops of the radiators. I had to dust them. I remember explicitly doing this, and I had to clean the toilets.
I had no bathroom chores. I didn't have to do any of those. I did outdoor. I had to mow. I
didn't have to mow. I definitely helped with like weeding and leaf pickup, like seasonally. But my brother and I were expected to help and do stuff for sure.
Yeah, I had to keep my room clean, and I mowed. I don't remember. Like, I know I did other chores, but I don't remember them being like mandatory.
Okay.
And yeah, I don't remember.
But they probably were. It's about how you frame them.
They might have been. Like, I remember vacuuming, and I remember, like, we had to do our dishes. That was a big thing because it wasn't an explicit thing in my household. Nobody said you are responsible for your own dishes, but if you didn't do your dishes, you were in like the mom dog house. She looked at you like
probably not a good place to be, Sam.
Like, she would look at like you disappointed me. You're a failure of a kid. Like it was.
No.
It was why am I a therapist? Mom baggage, right? Like, but doing your dishes, like if you left crap in the kitchen, all bets were off. So I don't know if that was an exact chore. It was just have to do that in my household if you want to stay in good connection with your parent.
Well, I think some of it is like expectations versus something you might label as a chore. Like, I expect my kids to clear their plates and put their stuff in the dishwasher after dinner. Like, that's an expectation, but it is somewhat of a chore in a way too.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of it like that. Like, that's an expectation. That's just like how dinner goes. I wouldn't have called that a chore, but like, yeah, when you're done dinner, you pick up your stuff and bring it over to the sink and hopefully put in the dishwasher. If
maybe with some reminders.
We're like 3 for 4. There's 4 straws. We're 3 for 4 on that one. Although we've recently moved 4 for 4, but executive function stuff comes along when it comes along. But okay, chores. They are good for kids. There's so much research to support that, like, the outcome that chores give kids long term are things like confidence, self-esteem, like a positive view of themselves, higher academic achievement, like little kids, kindergartners who had some chores. And I think sometimes we underestimate what kids are capable of, or we fail to give them chores because we're like, they're not going to complete them to the standard that we would like as the adults. But even younger children can have chores.
My kindergartner was folding socks for me last night.
Yeah, that's my kids. My kids, when they were little, they were the sock.
You can match them up. And some of the socks, one was still inside out, and that's how it went into the laundry, and that's how it came out. But she did it.
Mm-hmm. Right, and you didn't undo it, hopefully, because
And she
Right.
folds like the washcloths because like they're small enough to make a
Uh-huh.
square out of. And
Yeah. So there's lots of like long-term, I don't know, health and development reasons to put chores into place.
but I think you're teaching your kid life skills too. Like eventually they're going to fly the nest. Kids need to know how to do these things in order to maintain a home of their own in the future.
You make a great point. So, like, we're not just talking do chores for the sake of good character, also do chores to teach life skills.
Yeah, like it you need to know how to do laundry, and like are you not going to have clean clothes as an adult because mom's not doing the laundry anymore, cuz that's not going to fly too well.
In my house, for one of my children, that child lost laundry privileges from me, like lost mom
Oh
involvement in
no.
laundry during eighth grade. There was just too much taking, and that wasn't a chore. Like I was doing everybody's laundry. There were other responsibilities, but I was the laundry doer. But there was too much taking advantage of my time and effort. And so a consequence in eighth grade was I will no longer do your laundry ever.
Uh-oh.
And
This didn't go
better
well.
better learn how. And the child did learn how. And sometimes as a treat, like I would push laundry along, like if it was wet in the washer, I would push it along to the dryer. And sometimes even now I'll be like, okay, I helped with that load of laundry, but I did not. I withheld laundry privileges, and the other kid didn't lose their laundry privileges. and and I would say, how come? One kid would be like, how come you do my siblings' laundry and not mine? And I was like, well, they didn't lose. That wasn't a consequence for them. But by the end of high school, everyone was doing their own laundry. I wasn't doing anybody's laundry. Okay, so let's talk about why chores matter. We've talked about a bit of it, right? Independence, responsibility, life skills, and on family unit functioning.
Yeah, how you function and live cohesively with other people. I mean, if you've never think about a kid going off to college and living in a dorm for the first time.
Yeah.
Like if you don't know how to cohesively live with another individual and now you get thrown in with a complete stranger, how do you manage that if you have no framework to build off of?
Right. Right. Also, just sidebar on family unit, like oftentimes parents. This is a total sidebar, but I think chores tie into making you feel like you are part of the family, like you are a member of the team.
Well, you
And,
contribute.
yes, and I think that giving your children an identity as like my kids are Straubs, your kids are Wellners, like they're giving them an identity as a member of your family is the first and most foundational group to which they belong. And when groups get shaky in school, and they do, when
Oh
kids
yeah.
go through like social plate tectonics, sometimes they don't feel or know which groups they belong to. And if they can fall back and be like, well, at least I'm a member of the family. So the way we frame chores can be, you are one of us and we do these things.
Yeah.
And I think that is beneficial. That's just language to use as you are just, telling your kid which chores they're gonna do. But yeah, I wouldn't say that kids are going to be like, so these are the case. Don't use this to say I am assigning these chores so you'll have like long-term better academic outcomes, son. Like,
That probably won't go over pretty well.
no. So like it might just when you're describing this to your kids, when you're assigning chores to your children, they need to be age appropriate, developmentally appropriate. And there's no reason to explain like this is for the studies show, kiddo. Right?
That probably wouldn't fly too well.
But because you are one of us, because our family like values these things, because we want to teach you how to live within a family, within a group of people, because eventually we're not going to be the people you live with. Those are fine reasons, and I think kids will buy into those. Mostly, like again, if kids are ornery, they're going to give you flack no matter what.
I think that's going to be normal, especially if it's something if it's a new concept that you're introducing into your family. It's you're going to get pushback. I mean, I feel like every parent has gotten the pushback, "Oh, mom, I'll do that later." And later means in 20 years probably, but
So what do you do? Let's, because yes, everyone, every family, and every parent listening, if you've assigned a chore to your child, or there's a regular chore that they're supposed to remember, and you have just reminded them that it's chore time, and they say, "I'll get to it later," I feel like everyone listening, that's happened to.
Yeah, I and if it hasn't happened to you, please email us and let us know because you're doing something
Yeah, tell us the magic. But
better
let's,
than we are.
how do you just prevent it? So I don't think it's a preventable response, because developmentally, kids and teens in particular listen to the loudest need, not the highest priority need. And if the loudest need at any given moment is whatever they're doing at the moment, in the highest priority need is get the chore done. Because, like, for example, if the chore is dishes and a meal's about to be made, but there's a backlog of dishes from lunch and it's about to be dinner time, and like they need to get the dishes done so that the next round of dish creation, dirty dish creation
Doesn't
can take
pile on
place.
top
Mhm.
of.
Right. So like that has to happen. That's high priority right then for at least the family. The kid might not be realizing it, but if they're scrolling on their phone, or they're on FaceTime with a friend, or they're in the middle of a project, or they're outside shooting hoops, those are all more fun things,
Yeah.
and that's going to
Totally.
take priority. So that's a plenty good reason why they'll be like, "I'll do it later," just to get you off their case. So when oftentimes parents will be like, "Nope, you do it now," right? Like, and then there's a major power
You're
clash.
gonna end up literally in a full on argument with your kid at that point.
Right. So language you can use in to help your kid when they say, "I'll do it later." You can say, "I trust that you'd like to, and it's time to do that now. How can I help you transition towards the chore?" That's it. Like, you don't escalate, you don't yell, you validate. Like, "I trust that you mean that for
But
right for
we,
this reason. It's time sensitive." And
yeah.
it might be, "I trust that you mean that, but historically that hasn't actually happened." Like, historically I say okay, and then it's 10 p.m. and it's bedtime and there's still dishes in the sink, right? Whatever. Therefore, this has to happen now. How can I help you transition towards it? There, that's it. And oftentimes they will look at you like, "Ugh," and because they're like, "I don't want your help," and then they'll get up and do it. Not every kid. The kids with certain profiles, um,
Are gonna put up a big fight.
yes, ADHD, autism spectrum, any kid, anxiety, even certain presentations of anxiety, any kid for whom the request feels like it registers in their body like a threat of some sort, like, "This is a big problem for me right now,"
Mm-hmm.
right? That there's a word, pathological demand avoidance, which is the term
Yeah.
that we're coming to understand as a component of raising kids with some of these profiles. So if you try my, "Hey, it's time, how can I help you transition towards the chore," and it backfires with your child, just know that that might not be a you problem. Sometimes it's also, you might have like a hypersensitive kid to requests.
Yeah. For sure.
So, sidebar on that one. All right, so let's talk about how to give, like, how to assign chores.
And I think it needs to start pretty early on. Um, I mean, I think even a 2 or 3 year old can help. Like, um, you see this often with like if you have more than one kid and there's an older sibling who's in the toddler age range, like, hey, can you go get mommy this for the baby? Like, they can help and do small things. Everything might not be done 100% correctly. There are definitely going to be mistakes, or, like folding socks, there's going to be one left inside out, or it's not going to be folded the way you may fold it. Um, but it's also, the fact that they are there helping and you're starting to build patterns and routines, then it becomes just normal. And that just becomes how you guys function as a family unit.
And also, if you're working on making chores part of your younger child's repertoire, adapting the environment so that they are capable of executing the chore, like that might mean putting, like, if, let's say you want your child to help dry the dishes and the dishes are plastic, and that's, you then put a towel towel hook lower down for them and put like make a little counter down low, and you could put the dirty dishes in a base or the wet dishes in a basin, and they can take them out one at a time and dry them. Like if you go into a preschool classroom, particularly a Montessori classroom, but any
Everything's low.
everything's low, and they've created little stations for kids to do tasks. I worked in a fantastic elementary school for 1 year, not my age group, but a fantastic, like just a great school, great culture school. And the teachers had created in their classrooms little spaces that were for whatever the chore was. So then there were chores in the classroom.
Yeah.
So like around the sink, there were sponges so that there could like if you made a puddle around at when you wash your hands, you could sponge up the puddle. They made it so kids could do what was helpful.
Yeah, and kids are very, very capable when put in the right situation to do
Now, and the same goes for teenagers too,
it.
like um sometimes when we say, like when we give them a chore, again, executive functions come along when they come along, but they're not fully wired in any kid
Mm-hmm.
until our 20s, until the early 20s. So sometimes when you assign a chore, if it's a multi-step chore to an older kid, um,
It doesn't register.
no, they will stall because they're like, that feels like a whole day event.
Because
Or
that's the go clean your room, Sam. Because that could mean a bazillion different things. Does that mean there's laundry out? Does that mean there's trash in the room? Does
Mhm.
that mean things are just not put away? There's stuff on the floor. Your bed's not made. What does that actually mean?
And what does a clean room look like? Does a clean room look like all the crap's off the floor but shoved in drawers and closets, right? What actually is a clean room? So some things that get in the way of chore execution. One, multi-step. So like when you say go, instead of go clean your room, say here's a trash bag. We're gonna go. Your room needs to get clean. First step is find trash in your room and put it in here. And like if your kid can't automatically break down steps.
Yeah.
And then next step is here's the hamper. I want you to put all dirty stuff in this hamper, and then we're going to put it in the hallway. Right? Like you need to give them steps for how to do this, and don't expect them to memorize the steps from when they do this one time to the next. Like you're going to have to be involved in these multi-step processes for some kids. Other kids, they can conceive of the end. So they need to know what a clean room looks like, and then they need to know sub steps for getting it clean. And they may need your partnership to help them start.
Yeah.
Because again, executive function kids who have struggled with executive functions struggle to initiate. So
That's
starting
a
with,
big, overwhelming task when you say go clean your room to a kid who
yes.
struggles with executive functioning. They don't even know where to start. They end up paralyzed and not doing anything.
Yeah, task paralysis. ADD kids have this all the time, right? So break it down, right? And sometimes you have to pick your battles too. Like if your child, if like let's say your kid has not been able to clean their room or execute a multi-step chore, but they do it and it's like 80% good.
You need to praise the heck out of that 80%.
Yeah, just be like, hey, like great effort. It can be tempting to be like, great effort, but you left every drawer in your closet wide open and whatever else, and you didn't take any of the books off of your bed. What's going on there, right? It can be tempting to say great effort, but
Don't do the but.
don't do the but if you can avoid it. Yeah, if you can avoid it, because we
Because
want to.
you're gonna undo all of it, and then in the future, you're gonna be starting from like 10 steps behind.
Yeah, we want to reinforce behaviors we want to see more of. So we don't want to shame behaviors that were good, right? That are helpful. All right, what do you think about stickers and charts and reward systems? This for that.
So there's different. I think it depends somewhat on the kid,
Mm-hmm.
and it depends on your guys' family dynamics. So some families are going to function where these are just expectations of being part of a family. Some kids are going to need more positive reinforcement than just that verbal praise. I think the verbal praise should happen no matter what. But some kids also need visual reminders for things, especially if you reiterating it all the time is going to bother you as a parent. Um,
So,
so
like a chart or a system can be not just like, hey, if you do this, you get that, which by the way, I don't love. Well, I'll talk about that in a second. But it could be these are the chores of the week, and here's a list that we can check off each week. Like that can be helpful.
yeah. And
And
so those visual type reminders are also really good for younger kids because if a kid is still learning how to read, there can be pictures of
mhm,
things. So there's ways to get creative as well. And kids do well with positive reinforcement. So being able to check something off or put a sticker somewhere or something like that can definitely be a good positive behavioral reinforcement tool. But the getting paid for this or that sometimes can definitely backfire.
that's what I was going to say that I do not love. You get five. Let's say like let's say each chore, let's say the child has 5 chores in a week, and if you get a star next to each chore, then you get this treat on Saturday, right? I do not love that because
Doesn't always work, Sam,
it
because
doesn't, because
for
kids
a
can't
kid to wait a
control it.
week,
That's right.
that positive reinforcement model won't work out well because kids will get lost somewhere in the midst of that week and it won't work out.
And parents of teenagers make it even longer. Like if you do all your chores for a month, then you can have this e-bike, or right, like I'm just thinking about like what's trendy right now. Um, if you want to get your kid an e-bike and you're feeling like that, okay, talk talk about what the contingent or what the rules are for using that and why you're doing it, but don't make it because you've done these chores, because then what we do is we make chore doing, and this applies to grades too, by the way, externally motivated. And not that kids are going to be necessarily internally motivated to do the chore because they like it, but we want them to be internally motivated to do the contributing,
Yeah.
right?
Well, also,
So
too, once they get that external reinforcement item, if it's the big e bike or
yeah,
whatever, the ice cream on Sunday, the motivation to continue falls off. It's
yeah,
gone.
they're like, what's my next treat?
So,
What?
and then you have to keep upping the ante. You're going to go broke doing this.
Or you're going to raise a kid who's incredibly transactional.
Yeah.
And I know as an educator, when I had kids in school whose parents did this in their household, I could tell because they were like, why should I do this? Like, what's in it for me?
Mm-hmm.
If you ask them to help or something, like they would just be like, no, like being a part of a community matters not to me.
Yeah.
And so in this way, we are raising kids of good character when we ask them to contribute. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I wanted to say around getting them. Oh, nagging.
Oh, not good.
Yeah,
Not good.
but it's so we all get into it. Like, what if you've got a kid who has a chore and you're like, hey, you didn't do that chore. Hey, it's Tuesday, you didn't do that chore. Hey, it's Wednesday, you didn't do that chore. It's Thursday, you didn't do that. Yeah. Guilty, by the way.
Oh, yep. Yep. For sure.
If you can find a way to not be a nag, and even if that might sound like, if you sat on it for a while and you're tempted to nag, you could go to your child and be like, listen, I know that if I say what I want to say, I'm going to totally blow it between you and me, but that's where I am right now. And so instead of nagging, you confess where you are. You narrate what's going on inside of you. It's because there's this unfinished thing and it's in my head and I don't know if it's in your head, and I kind of want to check it off my to-do list, but it requires you to do something. And I don't know if that's fair or not fair. I'm just letting you know that our relationship is breaking down a little bit the more you delay this task.
So, another thing I always say about nagging clinically is, usually during my clinical appointments, I have a parent and a kid in the room at the same time. And this topic comes up all the time. There's always, every family has, resistance to doing something that's expected or required to do.
Yeah.
And I usually will turn to the kid in front of the parent and say, I know you feel like mom or dad is nagging you. I'm like, the best way to get them to stop nagging you is to just do it.
Which is helpful if there's a you in the picture.
Yeah. So
Not every family has
if
that.
there is someone else involved, sometimes that helps because it also empowers the kid that like, oh, wait, I can also change my parents' behavior. So sometimes I've said it to my own kids. I'm like, you want me to stop nagging you? Just get it done. And I will be quiet and I will walk away.
But you have to say that in a way that's not snarky
Yes, it has to be the
mean.
right tone for sure.
Right, like how you just delivered that was not snarky. Like, hey, this is the ball's in your court. You're going to get me totally off your back if you just complete the task. You could also say, you want me off your back? Just do the stinking chore then, right? Like, that's a different tone.
Yeah, and I think you have to check your own emotions and stay calm before you engage in that conversation as a parent. Like,
Yeah.
you may need to like go take some deep breaths before you deliver this.
And I was thinking about that, when you were talking about having parents and kids in the room together and you turning to the child and saying like, the best way to get your parent to stop nagging you is to just do it. If you're the parent in that room with Melissa, it can be tempting to look to the child and be like, she's right, or you hear that?
And
don't do that.
Is exactly what you do not want to do.
Don't do that because
I've actually told parents to be quiet.
Yeah. Because
it's not respond that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because then it's piling on. It's like the adults ganging up on the kid and it damages your relationship with the kid because then the parent has been like, see, she's mine, like, ugh. So if you're fortunate enough to have another adult preaching your message to your child, don't get behind that adult, metaphorically speaking, and be like, yeah, like, that's bad. That's bad practice. All right. So big picture, studies show chores are important. Like there is every reason to do it. Academic development, personal, social development, happiness, well-being is improved, and starting chores young is critical. But if you have not been a chore family, you can start it. However, if you do, you can expect
a lot of pushback.
We call it like an extinction burst. Mm-hmm. Like when you're trying to extinguish a behavior, in this case, it would be lethargy, like it would be like sloth.
Avoidance. Lots of avoidance.
Non-contributions, right? You can expect the behavior to amplify before it changes.
Yeah.
So that could
be it's totally okay if it's a hot mess. Or if it's okay and then it becomes messy again because your kid hit puberty and all of a sudden you're getting a bunch of pushback for something that they've been doing for 10 years.
Yep. So. All right. Well, if you have a chore story, if you've got stories from your own household that you want to share, or like, wait, here's the situation. How do we handle this? You know where to find us. You can find us at parentingshrinkwrapped@gmail.com. On Instagram at Parenting Shrink Wrapped, Facebook at Parenting Shrink Wrapped, YouTube Parenting Shrink Wrapped. You can find us all over the place. Send us a DM, send us an email, and your comment might just turn into an episode.
We'd love that. So tonight, when you want to assign a chore, do so calmly.
But do so calmly and prepare for battle.
Calmly, very calmly. So it's not just about emptying the dishwasher.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Parenting Shrink Wrapped. As usual, we love you. We love your kids. And thank you for raising the next generation of world changers. We will catch you in the next episode. Thanks for joining us on this wild ride called parenthood here at Parenting Shrink Wrapped. We hope today's episode gave you some useful tools and maybe even a few laughs to help you navigate the twists and turns of raising teens and kids.
Remember, parenting is a journey, not a destination. And no matter where you are on the road, we're here to help you stay on course. Whether it's monumental meltdowns, teenage turmoil, or just the everyday chaos, you don't have to travel this path alone.
So until next time, keep your seatbelt fastened, your sense of humor intact, and your eyes on the road. We'll be back soon with more compassionate conversations and practical strategies to support you and your family.
Don't forget to subscribe to Parenting Shrink Wrapped wherever you get your podcasts so you never miss an episode. And if you've enjoyed today's show, we'd love it if you'd leave us a review and share it with a friend.
If you have suggestions for topics you'd like to see us cover in the future, feel free to send us an email at parentingshrinkwrapped@gmail.com.
Until we meet again, take care and enjoy the ride.